about the Large Spice Refinery in Dune Awakening. The first thing you should know is that this is the very end game piece of machinery that you'll make. At the very least, you should already be making plastinium. To make plastinium, you will need a Mark V cutter ray to mine titanium and strontium, and you will need at least the medium chemical refinery to smelt strontium into strontium fiber. If you're not at this point, that's the first thing you should be working towards. The next thing to know is that this large spice refinery is massive. You're going to want, at minimum, a floor that is two floors deep by 3 floors wide. That's the minimum. I would suggest that you do a 3 by 3, and then we'll go to the height. This thing is 4.5 walls high. So you're going to want to at least make a room that's 3 by 3 squares and then 4.5 squares high. Once you do that, you'll have enough space to place the machine down and actually have it covered by a roof. Now let's get into the materials you'll need to craft it. This thing takes a ton of crafting materials. One thing to note, if you build in the deep desert, crafting only requires half the material. And if you build in the Hagga Basin, you'll be paying double what you could if you built in the deep desert. I highly recommend building the in-game stuff in the deep desert. If you build out here, the cost of crafting is half, and as long as you break stuff down each week before the Coriolis storm hits, you get 100% of your resources back. So you can just pack all of this stuff up, go store it back on the Hagga Basin overnight while the storm hits, and then you just come back out here when the storm is over after the reset and rebuild the next day, and you'll already have all of your materials ready to go. If you do want to build this in the Hagga Basin, just know that it is very, very, very expensive. And you'll see that here in a second. So let's go right into what this thing costs to make. So if we go over to our refiners and scroll over to the large refinery, we'll see that I'm in the deep desert right now, so this is halved. You will need 540 silicone blocks, 175 complex machinery, 475 plastinium ingots, 500 spice melange. So up until this point, you should already have a small spice refinery made and be mining spice. You will need 555 Cobalt Paste and then 28 advanced machinery. The advanced machinery is a tier 6 resource that is found in the deep desert. You can find it on the ships that crash from the sky that are burning, or if you have the advanced survival fabricator, you can craft those at this fabricator. And to make this fabricator, you can see in the deep desert, it takes quite a bit of resources as well. So once you've acquired all of these resources and built the machine, you'll notice that the machine requires 500 power. My suggestion is to get 500 power, you'll want to build 4 of these wind turbine omnidirectionals. They give you 150 power each. So 4 of these will give you 600 power. That's plenty to power this one machine. For these, you'll just need steel, cobalt paste, and calibrated servox. If you were going to build the large spice refinery inside the Hagga Basin, it would cost you 950 plastinium ingots, 1080 silicone blocks, 350 complex machinery, 1,000 spice melange, 1,110 cobalt paste, and 55 of the advanced machinery. That is a ton of materials. If you're on the fence about being in the deep desert and all of this, I will say if you build on the shield wall in the A sectors, it is pretty safe. You can't be raided there as far as I know. It's a PvE zone and all of your stuff is safe. The only thing it's not safe from is the Coriolis storm when it hits. So as long as you log in and break all your stuff down and move it before the end of the week storm hits, you get 100% of your resources back. Just bring them back to Hagga Basin, store them up until the weekly reset, and then go build it again. Building this in the Hagga Basin would be very expensive. Doable, but very expensive. Another thing I'd like to go back over is the advanced machinery. It is a tier 6 resource found only in the deep desert, and if you don't find enough, that was the hardest thing for me to get. You can craft them at this advanced survival fabricator. The advanced survival fabricator is also tough to make. You will need in the Hagga Basin 140 plastinium, 100 complex machineries, 45 spice melange, thermoelectric coolers. You'll need 30 of those. That's also a tier 6 resource that's only found in the deep desert. You need 180 silicone blocks and 150 cobalt paste. Once you build this table, you are able to craft several advanced components. The advanced machinery, I did have to craft like 11 of these to make mine because we didn't have enough. And it's pretty cheap to make. Just takes 1 cobalt paste, 2 plasteel plates, which is also a tier 6 resource only found in the deep desert, 3 complex machineries, and then just 50 water. And that's everything you need to know about building the Large Spice Refinery inside Hagga Basin, which I totally would recommend against that. Try to get you a decent small base set up in the deep desert for all of your advanced crafting, and that'll help you a ton. It's not as hard as you would think. So you ask yourself, why would you go through all the time to grind for this large spice refiner? Is it worth it? In my opinion, it's 100% worth it, just because you get double the spice melange for your spice. So normal spice costs 100 spice to make 1 spice melange. In this machine, you can refine 10,000 spice at a time, and in return you'll get 200 spice. So you're getting double the output for the same amount of spice that you would spend in a small spice refiner. Now I will say, if you are a solo player or someone that's just not mining a lot of spice in bulk, you could stick with the small one, since this one you need a minimum of 10,000 at a time to refine. With the small one, you can do 100 at a time and just crank out, 1 spice melange each instead of doing it in bulk. But if you are to this point and can make this machine, it is 100% worth it, just because you're getting double the output for your spice. If you've liked this video, please hit that like and subscribe button for more Dune Awakening content.